Paella is awesome. We all love it. Today, many people around the world associate paella with seafood. But it isn't just about seafood. And it isn't just about a one-pot dish that originated from Valencia, Spain. There are several varieties of paella: meat paella, mixed paella, vegetarian paella. There are also adaptations and extensions. Arroz a la Valenciana in the Philippines, arroz de pollo in Central and South America. We know that some of these varieties and creations may piss some people off because they are not authentic. So what are those variations of paella and the dishes worldwide that are cousin to it? What is considered authentic paella? Is authenticity necessary to this dish? Before talking about these questions, it's important to understand the origin of paella. The utensil ingredients can be traced back to both Romans and Moorish influence. But let's talk about the name first. Paella, the dish, was born in Valencia, Spain. And the word in Valencian, the language, means frying pan, specifically referring to the white, shallow pan where the dish is cooked. The pan is traditionally made of iron, but is now often made of stainless steel. Although it's nice to have this little cute pan at home, your usual stainless steel, like this one, or cast iron, like this heavy guy, will work to your homemade paella. Or just any round pan that distributes heat evenly will work too. The pan was brought into Spain by the Romans during the conquest of the Iberian Peninsula, but it wasn't until somewhere between the 14th and the 15th centuries that the dish was born. Paella was born on a farm in Valencia. It's a one-pot dish prepared by 1 or 2 people, but meant to feed around 20 or so people. But the original one didn't contain seafood at all. For the meats, they put chicken, rabbit, and snails. For the vegetables, they used tomato, green beans, and white beans. It's a farm dish, so farmers use whatever ingredients they can find to make the dish. So why was paella born in Valencia but not other places in Spain? To understand this, we have to understand the importance of rice in paella. The Spanish are pretty serious about this. The strict guideline about how to make a standard paella includes using a certain type of rice, bomba rice or calaspera rice. Valencia has a perfect marshland landscape and climate that is suitable for growing this type of rice. It absorbs liquid well while still maintaining its shape and texture. Paella is essentially a dish with rice and meat, so the quality of rice, to some extent, has a significant impact on the overall quality of the dish itself. But rice isn't native to Spain, so how was it brought in and led to mass cultivation? Although the first appearance of rice was much earlier, it was the Romans who introduced the irrigation system to the Iberian Peninsula, making the south and east heavily agricultural. However, it wasn't until the Islamic conquerors, the Moors, occupied the region that rice cultivation was introduced, leading to an increase in its production. Actually, not only did the Moors improve the irrigation system, but they also introduced many new crops. The most important ones that contribute significantly to paella are orange and saffron. Traditionally, the paella was cooked over the wood fire to impart a unique aroma to the dish, and the wood that farmers use is orange wood. Another significant spice that is used in paella is saffron. Saffron is an expensive spice that contributes to the unique flavor, aroma, and appealing color to the dish. To add that is simple. All you need to do is to soak them in water and spread them evenly over the dish. However, the term paella didn't appear until the early 20th century. Before that, it was simply called arroz a la Valenciana, meaning Valencian rice. It was usually a home-cooked dish at family gatherings. Although the dish spread to other countries such as Belgium and France under the name of arroz a la Valenciana in the 1800s, it wasn't until 1950 when Spain experienced a surge in tourism that it gained international recognition. The popularity of seafood paella was attributed to the time when tourists from all over the world came to Spain. The restaurants started catering to them with different variations of paella. Ernest Hemingway favored seafood version. When he lived in Valencia, he was a regular at restaurant Papiga. Hemingway even mentioned the restaurant in his book, The Dangerous Summer, expressing his fondness for the dish. The journey of paella didn't end within Spain or Europe. With Spanish colonization and immigration, paella was introduced to different countries, shaped by other cultures, and gave rise to new versions. One of them is arroz a la Valenciana, in the Philippines. Before other Europeans and worldwide tourists got to taste the famous paella, the people of the Philippines had already experienced it. The Philippines still preserved the name arroz a la Valenciana, indicating that the term paella was a relatively new name in the 20th century. The Spanish have had significant cultural influence during their more than 300 years of colonial rule. In terms of culinary aspects, they not only introduced cutlery to Filipinos who had previously eaten with their hands and banana leaves, but also brought a wide variety of dishes and ingredients to the island, including arroz a la Valenciana. But the Filipino version of the Spanish dish underwent several changes and adaptations catering to local ingredients. It's made with glutinous rice instead of bomba rice, which is reasonable considering the Filipino tradition of consuming glutinous rice. For the meat, they use chorizo, chicken, and seafood, topping the dish with sliced hard-boiled eggs and garnishing with green onions, which is influenced by Chinese cuisine. Coconut milk is added to the stock, giving the dish a strong Southeast Asian character. Saffron is not added, likely because it wasn't quite accessible in the country. Instead, turmeric and paprika are used to impart a characteristic yellow hue to the dish. Along with the name change from arroz a la Valenciana to paella, Filipinos renamed the dish to paella as well. Although this Filipino cuisine has developed its own distinct character and flavors, one thing that remains unchanged is its role as a central element in family gatherings and a means of connection between loved ones. Another adaptation is arroz con pollo, which simply means chicken and rice. This dish is found all over Latin America, featuring even more extensive variations than the original paella, and each Latin American country has its own unique version. Despite the thousands of recipes, the two most common elements are sofrito and annatto oil. Sofrito, a African cooking base, is typically made by sautéing onions, garlic, bell peppers, and tomatoes. Originally from Spain and Portugal, sofrito is now widely used in Latin America, enhancing flavors of many arroz con pollo recipes. This might be influenced by colonization and the fact that bell peppers and tomatoes are native to Central and South America. While the ingredients and cooking methods for arroz con pollo and paella vary, they share a common trait: the yellow tint of the rice. Unlike Filipinos who use turmeric, Caribbeans and Latin Americans use annatto oil to give the rice its characteristic yellow hue. Annatto is from the seeds of the achiote tree, native to tropical parts of the Americas. It's often used as annatto oil and has a beautiful golden yellow hue. So, as you can see, just about paella itself has so many variations, not even mentioning that the worldwide dishes that were influenced by it. The popularity of the dish also sparked some debates, as in the case of mixed paella that combines meat and seafood, which isn't favorable to some Spaniards. They hold a very strong opinion about this version, arguing that meat and seafood shouldn't mix together, emphasizing the importance of maintaining the authenticity of this dish. So, back to one of the questions in the beginning. What is defined as an authentic paella? Is authenticity necessary to paella? The dish was born in Valencia, so that the most authentic version is always paella valenciana. But authenticity shouldn't be a criterion to evaluate the dish. My 2 cents is that paella valenciana can surely be a preserved dish because of its proud tradition, but it's the more versatile version that makes the dish more accessible and popular worldwide. Cuisine and dishes aren't static, and the beauty lies in the movement and adaptation of people and culture. The personalization of a dish is a part of being human, and that's what makes a dish more versatile, flavorful, and enjoyable all over the world. As we live in a constantly changing world, many dishes we have today were shaped by the movement of people and the integration and friction of civilization, cultures, and social structure. You'll be surprised at how similar these dishes are and how one culinary culture influences another, even when separated by thousands of miles away. Check out my other videos to learn more about the stories behind other dishes. We hope to see you there.